Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. I hope this Friday morning finds you well. I just had the news on and there's meltdown all over the place and there's people excited and there's people devastated. But anyway, we're here to talk about Celtic. We're here to talk about Adam Ida, and we're going to listen to the one and only Brendan Rodgers.
Some have returned this week as well. This is round the building.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant to be back. We had a great end to the season. I think everyone enjoyed their the off season. So, but no, it's really nice to be back and good to see the players and the staff again.
The team.
It was interesting that Brendan Rodgers came back a couple of days after the rest of the players,
And it'll be a familiar face in the opposition. Our captain. What is your experience of going up against ex-players and captains? And I imagine that you're looking forward to seeing them.
Yeah. Well, we'll actually seen him over the course of the summer. I bumped into him in Mallorca and then
bumped into him. Can you remember I actually said that during last month? I said Bruni had went from, he was in Italy and then he popped up in Mallorca playing golf. Bruni never goes to Mallorca playing golf. I followed Bruni on Instagram for years. He never goes to Mallorca. That wasn't by accident that he ended up in Mallorca playing golf, right next to where Brendan Rodgers stays, funnily enough. I did say at the time, don't be surprised if it comes out that the two of them have met and had discussions, and they'll talk about football. And it'll be interesting to see how many Celtic younger players end up with Bruni this season.
I invited him round to my house, so we had a nice wee few hours around there talking about everything football and Celtic and management, and so it was great to see him, and I look forward to seeing him again. He'll, if he's anywhere near a manager that he was a player, he's going to be a fantastic manager. So, but these are the early steps in Scott's career, and still in that process of learning. But he's got so much to bring to the game as a manager, I feel, and I always enjoy seeing him, and obviously now this will, even though it's a pre-season game, it's not competitive, but I'll always be nice to be on the touchline with him.
And there is breaking news. There was news that was put out yesterday by Celtic. Important information about travelling to the game tonight. Ayr United Celtic tonight at 7:45, pre-season friendly. Important information for travelling supporters for the pre-season friendly. Now, I will say, you've got to remember that is it's current bun country, so look after yourself tonight, because it wouldn't surprise me if there'll be a few entertainment scuffles, because let's face it, it is getting close to their big walk weekend, and they will probably be out in force, and Celtic are in town. Celtic are encouraging supporters to support the team positively. The possession and use of fireworks, smoke bombs, firecrackers, pyrotechnics are absolutely prohibited. Again, it stresses the dangers surrounding fireworks, pyrotechnics, and serious risk to other spectacular activity. The club and its supporters are highly proud of the reputation. We encourage all supporters to foster this reputation for this fixture. You can see where they're starting the season off with the anti-pirate raid. Ticket information: all tickets were provided by Ayr United. Supporters reminded that access to the stadium will be using a mobile ticket QR code or a print home ticket. There's no major roadworks in the area. Arriving at the stadium, gates open at 6:15 p.m. Kickoff is at 7:45. Celtic fans will occupy both ends of the goals and a section of the West Stand. Celtic will have 4 travel stewards present on the day. At the way end, Celtic will also have 2 SLO and 2 DAO present at their way end. Who's the new SLO then? Who's the new fans liaison officer? There's a new one. I knew John Paul Taylor was one. There would be no Police Scotland or mounted police at the match. Hey, get in there. Absolutely get in there. No cops allowed. On the day that the Tories are kicked out of power, there's going to be no cops allowed. There's a fantastic song, actually. From the 1990s. From West Bam. Just reminds me of that. Anyway, turnstile entrance. Fans with tickets to the railway end can enter via turnstiles 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Fans with the ticket for the Somerset Road end can enter via turnstiles 18, 19, 29, and 21. 18, 19, 29 and 21. Why did I have 29 then 20? That's a bit weird, isn't it? Fans with a ticket for the West Stand can enter via turnstiles 9 and 10. Drum, flags and banners. Drums and flags will be permitted with the exception of surfing banners. Drums will be subject to searching by prior entry. Supporters were asked to not cover advertising with their flags, even though there'll be political advertising in the ground. And people say, don't bring politics into football, but there's political banners around most stadiums in Scotland. The banner frame will be permitted and assisted, preventing advertising being covered. Parking, coach parking will be the Ayrshire College across from the fire station. And that game kicks off tonight. We will be going live. 1 hour and 15 minutes before the game to get the team news, as always. It's fantastic that Celtic are back. It is just a pre-season friendly. It'll be a game where there'll be about 20 players will get a chance on the pitch. As always with the first pre-season of the season. It was interesting that Brendan Rodgers has missed out the first half of the week. He was obviously still on holiday. Now, there is a situation with obviously Adam Ida. We're going to speak about that in just a minute. But with everyone clambering over the bit to talk about the one and only Rocco Vata, and the media putting out that Celtic have lost contract talks with Vata. Well, Vata was out of contract at the end of the season. We all know that. And there was no hurrah about him leaving Celtic because he was out of contract. He was a player that didn't want to sign a new contract at Celtic. It was suggested that Celtic were in contract talks with the young Rocco Vata, but he decided not to sign the contract offer on hand. It's been suggested that he's now going to sign for a club in England for 20 grand a week. 20 grand a week for an untested and untried player. That tells you all that is wrong with English football. He doesn't want to go out he didn't want to go out on loan last season when he was offered the opportunity to go out on loan and get some game time. He thought he should be walking right into the first team. And that was one of the reasons that Celtic never played him much last season. And that's the honest truth. We all know that the younger players that was in the B team that excelled at the same time as him went out on loan, young Bosch and Lawwell, and they knew that it was an education. It was a football education. They know that you have to go out on loan to get some game time to try and force your way into the first team. But the young Rocco Vata thought he was better than what he was, and he should be playing first team football. Now there is a current situation with a Celtic player, Daniel Kelly, whose contract is up in December, which is a weird time for a contract to be up. Whoever signed that contract for a contract to run in December, that's a weird one. He must have signed it really young. But with Manchester United and other clubs down in England sniffing about, it's been suggested that he could be offered as much as £9,000 a week to go to another club. Should Celtic be doing more to make sure they entice the younger team, the young players to stay? Yes, but Celtic have been putting things right over the summer. They have announced a lot of your B team have signed long-term contracts, and they brought in Darren D, something that we all know about. And also the other changes that have happened over the summer. Hopefully we shouldn't be losing too many of these players in the future. Should players really go out on loan to get some game time? And you've got to remember, Brendan Rodgers said at the end of last season, he says, look, we've got some players here who do not want a football education. They don't want to go through the whole football education. They think that they should be walking right into the first team. When in reality, they're not as good as the players that are in the first team. They may think they are. They may think they're just as good and they may come in demanding game time. But at the end of the day, there's only been one player recently that is in the last couple of seasons that's went on and left Celtic from the B team and caused anything that you could remotely talk about. And it's one and only Ben Doak. That one was hard to take. But when it comes to the young Daniel Kelly, I said, look, he is one that could potentially be the Celtic captain in years to come if he knuckles down. But Celtic haven't announced anything as yet. It's not been announced that he's looking to leave the club. So no news as far as that's concerned is good news. Now, Sky Sports have been saying, obviously, that Celtic made contact with Norwich City with regards to the Adam Ida. And Celtic went in and offered $4 million with previous claims by people associated with Norwich City, saying that they want around about $8 million for the striker. Now, considering Aberdeen want $8 million for their striker, do you think, and the question to you today is, do you think Adam Ida is worth $8 million? Do you think he's worth $8 million? He's a player that the manager wants. Whether or not Celtic have went back with an improved offer. I'm sure that there is positive talks taking place, and until they turn around and saying it's done and dusted and he's not coming, the 23-year-old should be looking to be a Celtic, and this is why I think it will happen, because Celtic rolled out Liam Scales to the media this week and had Liam Scales and various other players talking about how they would like Adam Idah back at Celtic. The charm offensive was on. Obviously, we know that the player will come back to Celtic, no problem. And I think a lot of it has to come down to the player has to push and just say to his team, we've had players that have done it to us before. We need Adam to sort of help push it along. Adam did say, I'm really excited about having seen him play. That was the manager. I'm not even going to go into it. We all know the situation. It'll be announced when it's announced. It's just a shame that it wasn't announced this week. We've got two goalkeepers that are going to play in goals this evening. One of them we thought had left. Another one, well, he's never going to leave, is he? It's Scott Bain. And Adam Idah, the impact revealed by Liam Scales as the Irishman lifts the lid on how he would love him back at Celtic. Scott Brown wants to get the monkey off his back of being that ex-Celtic captain. And Brendan Rodgers admitted that he met him in Mallorca. Nay shit, Sherlock. We said it at the time. But anyway, there's not a lot of news going around this morning that is sort of newsworthy or just add to the speculation. I don't want to add to the speculation. It's all about the game tonight. It is all about the game tonight. Tell me where you're going to be watching the game, because I'm sure a lot of you will be on holiday, and I'm sure you'll be watching it in a fantastic pub wherever you are around the world. We will be going live 1 hour and 15 minutes before the game tonight. I'm not sure if we'll go live after it. It's a pre-season friendly. There's no point really. After the game, we can talk about it all tomorrow morning. So I will see you for that live tonight. Make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. We're on the road to 18,000 subscribers. We're currently at 17,461. We've got a little bit to go before the season starts. We've got a month to go before the season starts. Can we get up to the 18,000 before the season starts? It's a tough ask, but you never know. We can do it. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.